Good morning, Bumblebees, and happy Monday. Hope everybody's had a really lovely weekend. So we're going to move on this week and we're going to be completing a week of work on shape, space and measures. And we're going to be looking at measures, position, direction and a little bit of time towards the end of the week. So to start with, we're going to have a look at some measures vocabulary. So you can see lots of words here on the board. So I'd like you to pause the video now, read each word and tell somebody at home what each word means. So have a look and see if you can think of a definition, as in a meaning of each word, before we move on and use each of these words in our maths lesson. So did you manage to do that? Did you manage to tell somebody at home exactly what each of these words mean? So position means the position on a grid, and we're going to be using that word today. Direction we've used before. Direction uses these words here: left, right, backwards and forwards. So we can tell someone to move in a certain direction, and by doing that we can tell them how many steps they need to move. Now, in order to tell somebody their direction, using left, right, forward and backwards, we might need a grid to help us to do that. And all of these words we're going to be using today. Coordinates are something that we would find on a grid. So we would be giving people different coordinates if we were using a grid or we were using a map. And then the movement is how they would move over that grid. And then we might measure the grid or measure the steps. So well done if you've managed to use all of those measures vocabulary in your lesson today. So our learning objectives today, we're going to describe position, direction and movement over a grid using different coordinates. So have a look at the grid that we've got on the board here. Now there's some quite important information on this grid that you can see. The first set of information we need to look at is along the bottom here. Now all of these letters here are in the centre of a square on a grid. So we've got A, B, C, D and E, and each of those are representing a different column. So this is column A, this is column B, this is column C, this is column D and this is column E. And then going with those letters, we have also got numbers. Now the numbers go up the side and they represent each row. So we've got row number 1 here, we've got row number 2 here and row number 3 here. Now there's one important thing we need to remember when we are using coordinates and we're describing the position of an object on a grid, that we always give the coordinate along the bottom first. So we always start with the letter and then we give the number. So if we were to give the position of the slide on our grid here, we would give the letter along the bottom and then we would give the number going up the side. So the slide we would find in position C1 because we've gone up in column C and across in row 1, and that is where our slide is. So let's have a look at the trees. The trees here in our grid, it says that the trees are in column B and row 2. So we find column B. Let's just change the pen colour. So we find column B here and we find row 2 here, and where both of those two meet is exactly where we would find the trees. So we're going to have a look and see if we can find the coordinates of the seesaw. So the seesaw is on our grid and it's taking up one box of our grid. So we first of all need to go along the bottom. So we keep going along the bottom until we get to the column that has the seesaw in it. So the seesaw is actually here. So this is our column. So we've got column E. Let's write E over here. And then we need to go up until we get to the correct row. Now, the seesaw shares its row with the trees. It's on the same row, it's just in a different column. So I'm going to go all the way across this time until I get to the seesaw because it's in column E. So the seesaw we will find in E2. Okay, so that's what we would put in our big blue box here, E2. Now it's asking us this time for information as to what we would find in D3. So I will just change my pen colour again. We'll have blue this time. So we're looking for D3. So first of all, I need to find D along the bottom, which is here. And then I'm looking for number 3 up the side, which is here. And then where those two meet is the square we're looking for. So if I go all the way across here and then stop and up from D and stop, we will find that the object in D3 is in fact the swings. So in here, I would write swings. Okay, so there's one object on the board there that I haven't given you the coordinates for and we haven't talked about. So I would like you now just to pause your video and to find the one object that we haven't found on the grid and write the coordinates for it before I give you the answers. So pause your video now and see if you can find the object and write the coordinates before I give you the answer. Did you manage to find the one that is missing? It was, in fact, the pond. Now, the pond is up here. Okay, so if I was looking for the pond, I would need to go across and find the letter along the bottom, which would be A. So I would write A first, and then I would go up the side until I reach the pond, which would be 3, and the pond would be found in A3. That would be the coordinates of the pond. Well done, everyone. You're working really hard today. So you're going to have a go at this in today's lesson. You will find that you have been given a grid. Now, some of you will have a grid that looks like this grid, and others of you will find that your grid is either a little bit smaller with less letters and less numbers, or you don't have any letters and numbers and you need to pop that onto your grid. So if you go back to the website, you will find the grid that you are using today. And I'm asking you to place an object on your grid and then write the coordinates that you would need for somebody to find that object for you. So if I choose, first of all, I am going to put a circle on my grid and I'm going to place my circle here. I'm then going to put a triangle on my grid and my triangle is going to go here. And then I'm going to put, just going to change my colour again, I'm going to put a star on my grid and my star is going to go here. Oh, we'll change it now to a red star and it will go up here. Okay, so I've only 4 objects on my grid. You can put as many objects on your grid as you would like to. So then we're going to write a list of those objects and you are going to ask somebody in your family to help you to find where they are on the grid. So if we start with the circle first of all, then we've got the red triangle. Oh. Then we have got the yellow triangle. And finally the star. So let's have a look together if we can find the coordinates of these objects. So we have got here the circle. So first of all, go along the bottom till we get to the column with the circle in it. So it is B here, and then we go up the side. You can circle it if that would help. So let's pop my pen on. So I'll circle in B, and then I'm going to go up the side and find the number of the row that we find the circle in, which is 6. So the answer to the coordinates of the circle is B6. Now, can you see how I've typed it as a capital letter? And that's because when we're using coordinates, we use a capital letter. So just double check that you are using the correct letters. So let's have a look this time at the red triangle. So this time we have got, we'll change the colour of my pen again. So we're using a different colour. We're going to go along till we get to the column, and the column here is C. And we're going to go up till we get to the row. It's quite easy for this one because it's the first row. So the answer for my coordinates for the red triangle are C1. And again, don't forget it needs to be a capital letter. So let's do the same for the yellow triangle. This time we have got We're going to go along the bottom until we reach the column. So it's in column F. And we're going to do the same, start at the bottom, go up till we reach the row, and it's in row 3. So the coordinates of the yellow triangle are F3. And we'll just finish finally with the star. So we have got the star. Let's go along the bottom until we reach the star, which is all the way along at H this time. And then we're going to go all the way up till we reach the row, which is all the way at the top on 7. So the coordinates of the star are H7. So this is what I'm asking you to do in the lesson today. You're going to place lots of objects. You don't have to use shapes. You can use anything that you would like to on your grid. Place them on the grid and then find the coordinates to show everybody where they are on your grid. If you want to challenge yourself, you can also look how you could move from one shape to another by using steps and directions. So have fun. Send me your completed grids with your coordinates and I will look forward to receiving them later.